So, starting, I gave you an essential question this time, so you don't have to generate your own essential question at the end. Just write this one down, unless you want to make your own. That's totally fine. But our key concept for the day, matter, is anything that has substance and takes up space. And all matter is made of atoms, which was that picture that I just asked about on the previous slide. You guys should have all seen an atom at some point in your academic career, in your school life. This is the structure of an atom. And like I said in the beginning, there are some slides that I am going to want you to draw. And this is one of them. That's why it says structure of an atom. And then, yes, I want you to draw this picture. It's very simple. You have two little dots in the middle. The dots in the middle, one of them is called a proton. And it has a little plus on it because it is positively charged. The little red dot, is called a neutron. It has a little zero by it because it doesn't have a charge. It is evenly charged. And then floating around those two, the little green ball, that is an electron. The electron has a little minus after it. That's a minus symbol because it is negatively charged. So yes, this is a picture that I do want you to draw. It doesn't take a lot of skill to draw this picture. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be informative so that you know where everything is inside of an atom. And like I said, it should be review. You guys should have gone over an atom and the general structure of an atom before. So like we said, all matter is made of atoms. At the center, a nucleus is made up of the protons and neutrons. I just said in the picture, the protons are positively charged. That's why it has a little plus sign after it. Neutrons have no charge. They are neutral. And then electrons are negatively charged. That's why that had a little minus after it. And electrons orbit the nucleus, like the planets orbit the sun. That's what was going on in that picture in the beginning. It was orbiting the nucleus in different ways. So these protons, neutrons, and electrons are actually called subatomic particles because they are the particles that are smaller than the atom as a whole that make up the atom. Elements. An element is something that is made of only one type of atom. There are a lot of elements, which we'll talk about in a minute, but there are 6 main elements that make up all living things. We are made up of something like 96% of just these 6 elements bonded together in different ways. And we abbreviate that CHNOPS, CHNOPS. That's why it's at the top in red. It's called an acronym to help us remember what we're made of. So we are made of CHNOPS: carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur. Like I said, we're made of a few other things too, but 96% of our bodies, as well as the bodies of every other living thing on the planet, is made of these 6 elements. The periodic table. All elements are arranged in a chart called the periodic table. And elements are known by their symbols, which is an abbreviation of their names, although it's not always their English name. For iron, we can't use this symbol for I. I is already used by the element iodine. So for iron, we use its Latin name, which is ferrous. It's Fe. And again, you guys should have seen the periodic table before at some point, whether it's 7th grade, 8th grade. It's okay, Anthony. You're here now. Welcome. And everybody got their schedule changed today, so it's a little different time. How to read the periodic table. This is important. You guys are going to be doing this in a worksheet this week. So within those little squares, there's a lot of different information. There's a number found at the top that is called the atomic number. And the atomic number tells you how many protons are in the nucleus. So you can see that first green square to the left, the symbol is As. The element is called arsenic, and it has a number 33 at the top, which just means there are 33 protons in the nucleus of one atom of arsenic. So for the red square at the bottom, if I ask you how many protons are in one atom of a hydrogen atom, one atom of hydrogen, you just have to tell me whatever number is at the top. That's it. It's not a trick question. Same for the blue one, lithium. If I ask you how many protons are in a lithium atom, all you have to do is look at the top. That number is 3. That's it. The other number, the number at the bottom, is called the atomic mass or the mass number. When we talk about mass, we always talk about weight, how much something weighs. So it's the number below the name, and it tells you how much the element weighs, which amounts to how many protons and neutrons are found in the nucleus. So if we add up the protons and neutrons, that's how much the element actually weighs. Electrons don't really weigh anything. They're extremely light. So they don't add to the weight. We only weigh the protons and neutrons. Those are the heavy particles. And we estimate. we round. So electrons and neutrons, the number of electrons always equals the number of protons in the element. So there's the lithium square. If there are 3 protons, because that's what the atomic number is, there are also 3 electrons. Now, there are different forms of this element, but in a neutral element, which is all we're talking about on the periodic table, protons and electrons have the same number. And then to get the number of neutrons, you have to do a little bit of math. It should be really simple. The number of neutrons is the atomic mass, which is that bottom number, minus the top number, the atomic number. So in a lithium atom, we take the bottom number, which is 6.9. We could also round it up to 7. We subtract the smaller top number, minus 3. That comes out to 3.9. And we round. We estimate and say there are 4 neutrons in the nucleus of a lithium atom. That's how we calculate the neutrons. Compounds are made up of 2 or more elements, and the formula for a compound contains the symbol for the elements and the number of how many elements make up that compound. So we always use the one everybody knows at first. So 2H, which is 2 atoms of hydrogen, plus 1O, 1 atom of oxygen, equals H2O. What is H2O? Anybody know? It is the simplest, most abundant compound we can think of. It is water. Very good, Nadia. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Millie. Yes, water. So that is the most simple compound. And then chemical bonding. Like we said in the beginning, to bond just means to attach to. It's a synonym for bond. And chemical bonds form to make atoms more stable. And one kind of bond, the one at the top, electrons get shared. That is called a covalent bond, you can see in the picture. On the bottom, electrons get donated. Na is sodium and Cl is chloride. Sodium has one extra electron and it doesn't really want it, so it tends to give that one extra electron away really easily. And sodium chloride is the official name for salt, which is that stuff that most everybody keeps on their table and seasons their food with. And that one is called an ionic bond. That is it for these notes. So finish these notes. I'll post the video this afternoon if we went too fast or you need to fill in some blanks or you need to rewatch it. Your 6-week grading period doesn't end for a few weeks. You can ignore that. But generate your summary. I already gave you the essential question. Go back to the video from old notes from chapter 1 if you don't remember how to generate your summaries, or you can make up your own summary. That's totally fine too. And then continue with the rest of your weekly work. I will be online every day at 2 o'clock still. That's still my open office hours. And then this class will now meet Thursdays at 9:30 a.m., which is second period. All right. So I'm going to go back and tell you, if you have not, which a lot of you have not, go take your chapter 1 exam. That is the biggest amount of points that will affect your grade. Use your notes. Use the online book. I put at the top of Canvas. Let me switch tabs. The top of Canvas, I put how to access the online textbook. You click on that. You can follow those directions. But that's all you should be using for the test is your own notes or the online textbook. If you want a physical textbook, go to your homeschool. You can get a physical textbook. All right. And then your weekly work. You have to make sure the 2 quizzes are done before you do the exam, but you can see the exam's worth 100 points. Make sure you get that exam done. It's also timed. You can only see the questions one time. You can't go back to the questions. Pay attention to the time. Make sure you know where all of your work is between all the sections. And the lecture notes, the ones we just did right now. And then you got a chemistry scavenger hunt after that. Okay. Any questions?